In this timeline, Randy Orton never hurt his back, although he has just been betrayed by Matt Riddle in the main event of SummerSlam and has lost the WWE Championship after Riddle successfully cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. But why did the original Bro do this? Well, on the Raw after the biggest party of the summer, Riddle opens the show to a chorus of boos as he stands alone in the center of the ring and says, "Are you all that surprised? All of my opportunities, all my big title matches were due to Randy Orton's influence. I couldn't make a name for myself whilst attached to an old withered man who I once believed in. But then I realised I was the one carrying his career, because every time I let him try, I lost out. Think about it, at Money in the Bank, we lost, and when I made up for his failures by winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, you called the shots from my idea! After everything I did for you, you spat in my face. So I called my shot when it mattered the most, and my plan worked. Reigns' power has been cut in half, and I'm standing here with my WWE Championship in hand, and Randy, you can't do jack shit about it." Everyone despises every word uttered by Riddle, including a Viper who tries invading the show, but he isn't a part of the brand, so security tries to stop him, but he nails an RKO onto him for his troubles. But Riddle remains stoic, he wants to fight. However, Adam Pearce doesn't. He storms out and says, "Step one more foot, Randy, and I'll fire your ass." Good. Now, you're not a Raw superstar, and after the stunts you've pulled, I'm not trading you over to Raw, not until you earn that right, and that starts by you getting the hell out of this arena. Pearce lays down the law, and although Randy doesn't want to, he abides by Pearce and leaves. But on SmackDown, Orton struggles to keep his temper regulated, which can be seen with his backstage interaction with Adam Pearce as Pearce says, "You know, you've really been a pain in the backside for a while now, Orton. But the fans love you, so I'll give you a chance to go to Raw. We'll call it the Trial of the Viper." And Orton quickly rebuttals, "Amazing name, get on with it." And Pearce responds, Alright, so you'll have 3 matches. One next week, one the week after, and one at Clash at the Castle. If you win all 3 matches, you'll go to Raw, and I'll spoil the surprise of who you'll face if you get to Clash. Oh, this will be fun, because I struck a deal with the devil, and if I beat you, or whoever Pearce puts in front of me, I'll be going to SmackDown so that I can get my hands on Roman Reigns. And without even muttering a word, Orton walks away. And the following week, it's time for the first trial of the former Legend Killer, and his first opponent is someone he and Seth have a lot of history with, as Rey Mysterio is the first judge, and they're going at it as if it's 2006 all over again. And unlike most other opponents, Randy's in-ring experience is equal to Rey's, and it shows. Both men try to outwit one another, however nothing's working. Orton could lose at the first hurdle, as Rey manages to outmaneuver the stronger Viper. He even manages to line him up and connect with a 619. Is he done? Rey goes to the top, but as he's jumping off, boom! He gets caught with an RKO out of nowhere, and that does it. Orton has surpassed the judge and jury and become the executioner. But who's next to trial Randy? Well, the following week, Randy awaits for his opponent, who turns out to be none other than Seth Rollins' protege, Nathan Frazer from NXT 2.0. Adam Pearce made a few calls, and Frazer was on a mission. He doesn't want to disappoint his master, so he flies like an eager eagle and doesn't let up. So one has to use his strategic mind to try and combat Frazer's high-octane offense, but seemingly nothing's working. Frazer is too much. However, just like last week, all it takes is one wrong choice by the young talent to be met with a repetitive lesson. As with yet another RKO out of nowhere, he moves on to his final challenge, who just so happens to be behind him, and Rollins manages to nail a stomp onto a weakened Orton, then leaves the carcass behind. So at Clash at the Castle, the match opens the show, and it's a good omen of things to come, as the match is an absolute banger. Rollins and Orton's chemistry with each other has risen from their previous program all the way back in 2015, but neither man will wilt. They both are so desperate to get their hands on their arch nemesis that they throw whatever they can at each other to keep the other down. Although the same story occurs as nothing is working. Rollins even manages to nail a pedigree, but that doesn't keep the Viper down either. However, the Visionary has a vision. He's gonna nail a stomp, but then Randy has done it. He gets to go to Raw to face a man he has a lot of history with. But as Orton celebrates his victory, Riddle unleashes an assault onto Orton. It's unbelievable by Riddle, but he eventually relents as he throws him to the outside of the ring and gets ready for his WWE title match. But what happens now that Orton is on Raw? Well, on the Raw after Clash at the Castle, Orton immediately interrupts the still WWE Champion Matt Riddle, and he's looking for a fight, but as he's making his way towards the ring, boom! Rollins completely blindsides the poised Viper with a sledgehammer in hand, and he smashes it into Randy over and over, whilst the champ just watches on in amusement. Rollins isn't going to forget that Orton screwed him out of a chance to get to Roman Reigns, as he eventually stops and says, "Oh, don't you worry, sunshine. Things between us have only just begun. And Riddle, keep a hold of that belt for me, will you? Because after I'm done with him, I'm coming for you." Rollins warns both former members of RK Bro, but how will Randy respond? Well, the following week, Orton is furious. He demands for Pierce to make a match between himself and Rollins, although Pierce says, "Look, Randy, this is a big money match. Everyone loved it at Clash, so if you really want it, I'll go talk to Seth, and then I'll make it official for Extreme Rules." And Orton sarcastically replies, "Oh, great, gotta love your competency as a general manager. Christ, give me a break." And Orton storms off. He's looking for Rollins, but so is the Visionary, as Seth launches at the Viper, and the brawl is on. No one can separate them. However, Orton gets on top, as he launches Rollins through a table. Orton gets a small measure of revenge, but it's not enough for the Apex Predator. As the following week, the fighting only continues to escalate. Seth and Randy not only fight backstage, but they even make their way out towards the ring. However, they take a quick pit stop with the crowd, but this immediately brings out the general manager as he screams, "Enough! I don't give a shit if you two want to kill each other. Lay another hand on each other before either of you sign the contract for your rematch, and I'll not only call off the match, but I'll ensure neither of you get a shot at the WWE title so long as I'm the general manager, damn it." And that makes both men stop dead in their tracks, with Pierce saying, "Now next week, you two will have a contract signing, and so long as you two don't hit each other, I'll even make your match at Extreme Rules, well, extreme. Now, I could make it no DQ, I could even make it a steel cage, but I think the best way for this match to conclude is Hell in a Cell." Pierce has dropped a bombshell onto both men. It'll be Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins at Extreme Rules inside Hell in a Cell. But for that to happen, both men must refrain from contact. Can they do it? Well, the following week, the contract signing takes place and it's a tense affair. And whilst both men sign the dotted line, they trade verbal bars. "Hey Randy, I know you're an Apex Predator and all, but when there's no rules, you won't be safe. Just ask Cody." "Oh, I see. You haven't watched what I did to Jeff Hardy back in 2018, have you?" "Well, I did try to repent since then for that, but I don't think I want to." And Orton unbelievably nails an RKO. Pierce is furious, but Orton waited until after the match had been signed off so Pierce can't enforce his punishment. And with that, the extreme altercation is set. Can Rollins tie the scoreboard, or will we see a repeat of his previous program with Cody Rhodes? Well, the match is on and it's a very vicious affair, and with there being no rules and every man holds back, Orton even manages to knock the Visionary into a cell, and from there both men proceed to use the cell to their advantage as they continuously hurl each other into the steel. However, Rollins manages to create enough separation as he sends the Viper into the ring, then clocks him with a sledgehammer. Rollins has been through this path before, but will it have the same ending? Well, he doesn't want that to be the case, as he relentlessly swings the hammer over and over onto Orton, but he eventually relents and goes into the cover. 1, 2, no! The Viper lives, and Rollins is furious, so he picks him up, but Orton plays possum and catches Rollins' boot. Then he spins him around, and then he looks for an RKO, but Rollins counters, then he unbelievably nails a nut shot. But Rollins wants to add insult to injury and do something that punished Cody Rhodes all those months ago, as he grabs a table, sets it up, but as he's looking to put him through it, Orton counters, he's got life left in the tank. But Rollins unbelievably hits yet another nut shot. It's any means necessary for Rollins. Thus he powerbombs Orton to the table, and with a stomp, Rollins wins. He ties up the score, but he's done with Orton. He only cares about the WWE Championship. As the following night, Adam Pearce announces the rebirth of the King of the Ring tournament, with the semi-finals and finals taking place at Crown Jewel. But there's extra stakes, with the winner of the tournament getting a WWE or Universal Championship match at Survivor Series. And although he isn't in the building, it's announced that Randy Orton will be in the tournament and will compete in his first round match the following week against none other than AJ Styles. And with the tournament rules inciting the fact that everyone is barred from ringside, there's no distractions for either men. They can focus on overcoming the other, and the in-ring action reflects both men's efforts. They are desperate for a chance of calling themselves king, and Styles' athleticism is starting to overwhelm the Viper, but all it takes is one move for Orton to get back into the match. Orton hits an RKO out of nowhere, and with another in the ring, Randy advances. He's one step closer to getting his match with Riddle, but in the second round, his opponent is vastly different to the phenomenal one, and at one point feuded with Styles, as Orton has to take on none other than Bobby Lashley. However, before the match can even begin, Brock Lesnar brings out the lifeless corpse. No one can believe it, and Orton has no choice but to take advantage, as when the bell rings, he immediately clocks Bobby Lashley for an RKO to advance. He takes no joy in it, but as Brock looks to continue punishing the Almighty, Randy steps in his way, which the Beast surprisingly respects. He backs off, and with that, Orton has made it to the quarterfinals. And his opponent is someone he has never shared the ring with before, as in the main event of Raw, Randy Orton has to take on and attempt to overcome Johnny Gargano. It's a dream match on free TV, and the match is a technical masterclass. Both men try to outwit one another, but Orton's experience is starting to overwhelm Gargano, but the Rebel Heart's tenacity, speed and agility manages to propel him back into the contest, and that fight makes Orton begin to get desperate. He tries his best to outmatch Gargano, but the youthful Rebel is too much for the Viper, but Gargano lets his guard down, as when he plays to the crowd, Orton strikes with everything he has left in the tank. He even manages to connect with an RKO. Is Gargano done? No! He won't let this opportunity slip through his fingers. Orton is stunned, but he starts getting fought. He goes into the corner. Is he gonna punt Gargano? Well, he stops. Gargano doesn't deserve the fatal blow, so he instead hits another RKO and goes into the cover. 1. No! Gargano with the will of a lion heart kicks out at 1. He refuses to be denied unless Orton goes into his dark place, which he clearly doesn't want to do. And Gargano is begging for a fight. He even slaps Orton. So the Viper in-kind responds with another RKO. And then he hits another and another. Randy wins. He's punched his ticket to the semi-finals. But of course, it always comes back to Seth Rollins. He blindsides Orton following his big time win, and on the Raw before the Premium Live event, Seth stands tall over a defanged Viper. But will this be the case at Crown Jewel? Well, the semi-finals contest takes place on the pre-show, and similarly to their previous matches, Seth Rollins and Randy Orton burn it down. The match is an instant classic, and they call back to their previous contests with their in-ring psychology, although in the end, Rollins gets nailed by an RKO out of nowhere. Orton has reached the finals, but who will he face? Well, in the penultimate match on the card, it's time to crown a king, as the match is contested between Randy Orton and the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. And in the words of Sheamus, the match is an absolute banger. It's technical, it's vicious, it's meticulous, it's everything you'd expect from these two warriors and more. But who could win? Can Randy get his match with Riddle, or can Sheamus get a match with either Roman Reigns or Logan Paul? Well, both men are giving it their all. No man has the advantage, but as Sheamus is looking for a bro kick, Randy dodges and then nails an RKO. Orton has done it. He's become king, and he gets his match with the champ at Survivor Series. But Riddle doesn't like this, as he assaults Randall Keith Orton following his win. And leading into the Survivor Series, the war between Randy Orton and Matt Riddle becomes very violent very quickly. They can't and won't stay away from each other, but this time Pearce knows to just let the chaos happen. There'd be no point trying to separate the two bitter rivals. Although on the Raw before Survivor Series, Riddle manages to stand tall over Orton, with the match being announced as Extreme Rules. And the match is the living embodiment of extreme. Weapons are shattered, tables are broken, and a barbed wire baseball bat is introduced by Riddle. But as he swings the bat, Orton grabs it and nails Riddle in the gut. He's done, but Orton wants to put the nail in the coffin as he redecorates the announcer's table and puts the original bro through it. Both men are down, and the United States champion Seth Rollins knows it. He throws Orton into the ring, stomps Riddle, stomps Orton, then leaves the corpses behind. But something has changed in this timeline. Something drastic.
A-Town.
Theory's gonna cash in! He never failed his cash in this timeline and kept a hold of his briefcase. And this is his moment. He makes the match a triple threat. And with an 8-count down, Theory pins and defeats Randy Orton to become WWE Champion. No one can believe it. Everyone is stunned. Theory is the world champion. Orton and Riddle failed. And this timeline is truly forever altered. And if you like this story, I think this might interest you.